Hello, it's Enigma Hood. I'm here to announce to anyone who doesn't know already that the Sri Lankan Civil War is finally ended. The war has been raging since 1983, the year that I was born, and it has finally ended. The Tamil terrorist group, the LTTE, has admitted defeat. It admitted defeat yesterday, May 17th, 2009. Prabhakaran, the LTTE leader, is dead. This is quite a moment. This is a moment that a lot of Sri Lankans were waiting for. Some of them were waiting their whole lives for this. Like I was. I guess there wasn't a time when I was born, a time since I was born where there wasn't a war going on in my home country. Until now. And it's over. This, as far as I know, is the first example of a terrorist organization being defeated completely. Al-Qaeda has not been defeated. Hamas has not been defeated. No terrorist organization except the LTTE has been defeated. That says something. The Sri Lankan military had a resolve to defeat them, and they accomplished that. How do I feel at this moment? Well, I feel happy. I feel like rejoicing with my Sri Lankan brethren about this news. On the other hand, I am saddened to hear that there has been acts of violence being carried out against Sinhalese. I've heard reports that there was an acid attack against a Sinhalese man and his housemates in Australia. They don't know who did it, but more than likely it was an LTTE sympathizer. And I've heard of similar conflicts in Canada, the United Kingdom, attacks against Buddhist temples. And, you know, when I hear about these things, it makes me very sad and it makes me angry. Not angry at Tamils. And I hope no Sinhalese man or woman takes revenge against a Tamil for this. Because revenge just leads to more violence. It leads to more of the mistakes that were made in the past, and there were lots of mistakes made. I'm angry because my own brethren is fighting against each other. My own brothers and sisters. The war is over, and understandably, a lot of Tamils are upset about that. Upset about the fact that the LTTE has lost. What we, the sympathizers for the Sri Lankan government, the Sinhalese, should do is be humble. We should still be happy about what we have done, but we should have humility. We should not rub it in the face of the Tamils. That's not what we should do. What started this conflict in the first place was a lack of understanding for our fellow man. One of the things was something as simple as a dispute over language. Tamils speak Tamil, Sinhalese speak Sinhala. Well, Sinhalese. But, you know, in my opinion, now that the Sri Lankan government has won, I think that we should take a neutral point of view and make English the official language, because originally Sinhalese was made the official language, and, you know, it just wasn't in the best interest to all Sri Lankans. I know a lot of people might not agree with that. It's a Western language. It's the language of the British. You know, and I understand that. I understand that completely. The British did fuck things up. But my argument is this. English is now a world language, and Sri Lanka is now in a position to become a very modern and powerful country. And the only way to do that is to embrace the world language, and that's English now. Sinhalese should still be spoken, Sinhalese and Tamil should still be spoken in homes, but for all government business, it should be English, and equal opportunity should be afforded to both Sinhalese and Tamils and other ethnicities as well, anyone who's a Sri Lankan citizen. This, I think, would be in the best interest to everyone, because it's more important than just pride, because if we just make Sinhalese the official language, then I think that's a pride issue. This would be in the best interest to Sri Lanka in the long term, and that's the most important thing. Now, as for the conflict that I mentioned before between Sinhalese and Tamils and other countries, the acid attack and the attacks on Buddhist temples, I want to tell you a story about myself. I fell in love with a girl in America, and she fell in love with me. We were going to get married because we were so madly in love with each other. However, her parents hated me. They didn't hate me because I was a bad guy. They didn't hate me because I had a bad job. They didn't hate me because I had no education. They hated me because of my skin color. My girlfriend was able to hold out against this kind of hatred, this kind of racism, for a long time. We were together for a year. But in the end, she succumbed to their hatred, to their bigotry, their intolerance. Because, after all, they only disliked me because of my skin color. Because I was brown and they were white. To them, it did not matter that I was Sinhalese. It did not matter to them that I supposedly descended from Indo-Aryans. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what my social class was. It didn't matter. To them, all that mattered was the fact that my skin color was darker than theirs. That was the only thing that mattered. So, when I see a Tamil, I don't see a Tamil. I see one of my brothers or sisters. Because in the real world, in the Western world, they don't see us as that. They see us for our skin color. So I say we should unite against that. I will offer a helping hand to any Tamil that needs it. Just like you would do the same for me if you saw me in that situation. Wouldn't you? We are Sri Lankans, Tamil and Sinhalese alike. We cannot move forward unless we put aside petty differences between us. These attacks remind me so much of what happened in the aftermath of the American Civil War, where a psychopath idiot who was a small-minded fool named John Wilkes Booth thought that by taking revenge he could somehow change the course of history. Change the course of history to favor the Southerners. And he killed President Abraham Lincoln. However, what did he accomplish other than his own death? I think we can all learn from that. And I think Sri Lanka can learn from the American Civil War as well. We have to look into history in order to understand how we can unite together and move forward. I think that would be a good way of doing it. The war is over, but the challenges that await us have just begun. I wish the best of luck to Sri Lanka, to the Sinhalese and to the Tamils, because I know that if we work together, we can make it.